Hello, and welcome to another episode of Humanitarian Horizons. Christina DiArcangelo Unveiled. There are moments in history when the noise of the world becomes overwhelming, when fear becomes louder than wisdom, when anger spreads faster than compassion, and when people begin to feel unanchored, unsure of what to believe and where to turn and how to move forward with clarity. We're living in one of those moments. Across the United States in 2026, many people are carrying a quiet heaviness. Communities are strained, violence feels closer, trust feels fragile, families are overwhelmed by uncertainty, division, constant sense that something is broken. Everywhere we look, we are being pushed to react instead of reflect, to choose sides instead of choosing to understand, and to reflect quickly instead of moving wisely. In moments like this, the call is not to panic. The call is returning to God, to keep God present in our lives at all times, not only when things fall apart, but in everyday decisions that shapes who we become, to walk with Him, to pray, to listen, to believe in the structure and order He has already laid out before us, even when the world feels chaotic. God is not absent in uncertainty. God is present within it. When we walk with God, we are reminded that we are not meant to lead by fear. Fear clouds judgment. Fear fuels division. Fear leads to impulsive decisions to often make things worse. God calls us to instead pray, use discernment, pause, seek wisdom, and to act from love rather than from a point of reaction. The love God has for each of us is not passive, it is guiding. It is corrective. It is protective. It is the kind of love that helps us make better decisions, not just for ourselves, but for our families, our communities, and our country. When we invite God into our daily lives, we have a choice at that point, right? And our choices begin to change. We speak differently. We listen more carefully. We slow down. We recognize the humanity in others, even when we disagree. We stop seeing people as enemies and start seeing them as neighbors. In a time when violence is increasing and division feels normalized, walking with God becomes an act of resistance. It is a refusal to let anger dictate our actions. It is a refusal to let fear harden our hearts. It is a commitment to choose compassion, even when the world tells us to choose outrage. Prayer grounds us when the headlines are heavy. Faith steadies us when the future feels uncertain. And trusting in God reminds us that we're not meant to carry everything alone. God's structure is not about control, it's about care. It's about an order. It's about order in the midst of chaos. It's about wisdom during those moments of confusion. It's about love that corrects us when we drift and calls us back so we don't lose our way. As we navigate 2026 with its unrest, its challenges, and its moments of fear and fraction, we are beginning an invited walk towards God, not farther away, to ask for guidance before reacting, to pray before speaking, to trust that even in broken systems and painful moments, God is still at work. This does not mean ignoring injustice. It does not mean staying silent in moments that you have to challenge or you have to question something. It means responding with discernment instead of rage, with courage instead of cruelty, and with love instead of hatred. And when we walk with God, we become better stewards of our own words, our own actions, our own influence. We become slower to judge and quicker to understand. We become less reactive and more intentional. In a world that feels increasingly unstable, that kind of grounded presence matters more than ever. The path forward is not louder than you think. It's not louder than the voices or harder than what our heart would allow. It is found in humility, in prayer, and walking with God every step of the way. This is Humanitarian Horizons, and the horizon we are called towards is one shaped not by fear or division, but by faith, wisdom, and God's love. Thank you for joining me today.